is Bridget, and today we're going to be talking about self-love habits that work and my self-love routine. Our primary relationship that we have in our life for this incarnation is with ourselves. And that is the place to begin, because whatever our relationship is with ourselves is then what we create in the relationships outside of us. So it's so nourishing and kind and fulfilling to build this self-love, self-care, self-worth, and confidence within yourself to just bring more joy and happiness to your life and to have a good time. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. I have 3 main tips that I have for you, and the last one is really key. If other self-love things haven't worked for you in the past, this might be why, because it might be tied to your self-worth and confidence. So I suggest watching to the end so that you get that last tip, because this has been my game changer and how I really love myself. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button and drop a comment below letting me and all of us know what your best self-love, self-care technique is so that we can all grow together as a community. I also have a free meditation for all my subscribers, so be sure to go grab that as well. So now let's get into it. Coming into self. Wow, what a powerful subject. The first technique that I have, the first habit that really works, is to take time to drop in with yourself. Now, if self-love is a challenge for you, this habit is really helpful, because one of the things that might be happening is a lot of internal dialogue going on, and maybe like self-judgment or guilt or shame or just weird thought forms, because as we form and as we're little kids, sometimes we get just shoved into our heads because there's nowhere else to go because we're sensitive. And so a lot of that can form, and that's where some of the challenge can come. So the first habit and part of my personal routine is actually starting to drop into my body. So obviously meditation is going to be very helpful for this, where you're quieting the mind, witnessing the thoughts. But if that is also too challenging, then I suggest, as actually an advanced level and a great place for beginners to start, is to start with connecting in and dropping in with the body and breathing and just taking time to be. You don't need to think, you don't need to analyze anything, but actually starting to kind of touch and rub yourself, to hug yourself, to hold your heart and to hold your belly and just simply breathe. Maybe you can put on some nice music, some essential oils, anything to calm you, and just give yourself the space to be and begin feeling. And things might come up, things might not, but just giving yourself the time and the space for you. And this is tremendously helpful. I really like doing these check-ins when I wake up and before I go to bed. And anytime during the day, if there's been a trigger or like some kind of confronting situation in your life where it's like, whoa, or maybe something goes wrong, or maybe you have a celebration, whatever it is, when these kind of bigger jolts of energy and situations come up, I actually take time and go, it's okay. I'm here, I love you, it's okay, and just kind of breathe with myself and hold myself. Because that's one of the things, the keys that we maybe missed growing up is obviously our parents ideally were there for us and held us in those moments and helped reassure us. But as adults, we have to become our own big sister and big brother. And I like that perspective, because it's one of those things that if you're in your own dialogue of you and your adult self and like all these things and how you should be and what's going on, that's where it gets all messy. But if you can take a moment to just let yourself be and then get outside of your own self, like your own perceived identity, and be your higher self or be your big sister or big brother and be like, hey, it's okay, I got you. And almost treat yourself not in a demeaning way, but in a kind way, like a child or just like someone that needs to be loved and gently cared for. And that is a really, really powerful tool to just begin nurturing yourself and bringing kindness to yourself, and also being in that space of non-judgment. And that's where the energy and the trust with yourself can begin to form. So that's one of the best ways, is to be in that witnesser perspective of meditation, or going straight to dropping into your body, actually feeling your body, breathing, and coming from that perspective of a kind big brother or big sister, and telling yourself reassuring thoughts that it's going to be okay, and just being present in the moment. So this is a really great way to feel and to actually release, because sometimes you might just like well up and just need to cry for a minute, and then you're okay. But that emotion, that presence, that feeling in yourself gets honored. And that is tremendous and so kind. And then these parts of ourselves that don't get maybe heard or acknowledged won't lash out at you or anyone else later on, because you're taking care of yourself, you're listening to you. So the second habit that is tremendously helpful is self-care, right? And we hear this a lot, like self-love and self-care are almost like intertwined. And self-care are some of the acts of self-love, right? Which it could be taking a bath, going and getting a massage, taking a walk in nature, doing something that is nourishing for you, for your mind, for your body, for your soul, some kind of thing that fills your own cup. Because when we don't like ourselves, often we will just keep on working, or maybe we don't want to feel, and so we just kind of keep going, and we self-sabotage and don't eat and do these weird things. And so actually being like, I'm going to eat consistently, I'm going to take a minute to breathe, I'm not going to schedule as much, just even very simple things, it doesn't have to be like extravagant massages or something, is a wonderful place to start to, again, you're acknowledging where you're at, you're acknowledging your own needs, and this is fundamental to the relationship with yourself. And this is a great place to start if like kind of being with yourself is a lot, or being with your mind is a lot, just doing these acts is really, really tremendous. So the other thing you can do as a number 2 habit in this kind of self-care category are to do things that you love. So whatever fills you up and also is an expression of your soul, or an expression of just things that you enjoy, is incredibly tremendous, because it's doing a number of things. One, when you're doing something you enjoy, you're probably not in your mind. You get into this flow state, and that is a great way to build positive momentum in your energetic field and with yourself and with your state, so that you can do it in other times that are more challenging. Also, this gives you the ability to express, right? So that you can have an outlet for who you are, like for your joys, for your sorrows, whatever it is. So this could be painting, this could be going to the gym, this could be dancing, this could be rock climbing. I mean, literally whatever activity it is, just scheduling it into your week, 1 or 2 things that you really can look forward to and enjoy, and giving yourself that act of acknowledging and then pursuing those things that light you up is so fulfilling and will fill your cup, so that again, you're nourishing and having more self-care and self-love. So number 3, which is fundamental, you've probably not heard really many people talk about, is that there's a certain time and place for the soothing, right? All of the things that we've talked about, like this nourishing, this kind care that we're giving to ourselves, that's very needed, and it's lacking in our culture. It's this yin space of receptivity that is really needed, because we're in this like go, 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 ah! And so that is essential. Now, one thing that can happen that can lead to an imbalance, you probably don't need to worry about it too much, but just to be aware, because this is fundamental in building core self-worth and confidence, which is sometimes I can kind of hear and sense in like the self-care topic that it's like, well, I'm just going to eat chocolate and wine and unfold into my Netflix, and you just kind of go into this world of overindulging into what feels really good, but it might not actually be nourishing. Because say, sitting with yourself might be uncomfortable, but it'll end up being incredibly rewarding. So some things might not feel comfortable, but they're very fulfilling and nourishing. And so beginning to discern those. So if we're doing certain things or certain habits that's like, I deserve this, I'm treating myself, those things are fantastic and great. And make sure within that you're doing things that are truly nourishing, And you don't go too far where you're self-indulgent to the degree that you're not actually honoring maybe some of the things that you need to do, like the discipline you need to take or that action you need to take to develop a certain skill, to do that thing that you've always wanted to do, so that you can actually build self-confidence and self-worth. Because that's the tricky part, right? There's certain times where we're called to be disciplined and to actually pursue, maybe like it is going to the gym and actually like transforming our body, but it takes maybe some challenge, some pressure, some will to get up and to go do it. And when we do these kinds of things, the kinds of things that our heart is desiring, and we pursue those, and those can sometimes be uncomfortable or challenging or take some will force, that actually builds very deep rooted self-confidence and self-worth, because you have accomplished something, you have followed through on something and brought something through to fruition within yourself or within the creation of the world. My ear is ringing. That is significant and that is very, very helpful. It's like really ringing right now. It doesn't happen that often. Sometimes actually pushing yourself and then seeing yourself come to fruition with that thing is actually super badass and creates a lot of self-love and self-worth. Like, for instance, another example for me is in the beginning, 5 years ago, when I had never facilitated a retreat, I put it out there. It was super scary. And I, was going to have 20 people from around the world come and need to facilitate and hold space and take them around for 4 days by myself. And it was like, it was kind of scary. But now I have 30 under my belt and I feel extremely confident going anywhere in the world by myself, facilitating groups of people, knowing that I can take care of anything that comes up and facilitate really transformational processes for people. And so that has built this really deep confidence and resilience in me. And so doing these certain things that might be challenging or uncomfortable, but it is a part of your calling or a part of who you want to be and who you want to develop, is another really essential piece of the self-love conversation. And so just distinguishing what is nurture and when is the time to go within, to take care of yourself, to be gentle, all those sweet spaces. And then when is the time to go for it and to actually pursue something and follow through with it and bring it to fruition. And so that is a fine line. And that takes this internal alignment where the part of you that's like, okay, we got to do this, aligns with that inner part of you that's like, yeah, we do. And then you become a team and your whole self will pursue it. But that can only really happen when you've developed this relationship with all the different parts of yourself. So I hope that these 3 daily habits that you can check in with, that you can pursue daily, really help to cultivate and to build this kind, self-love relationship with yourself that also develops a certain level of strength and of self-worthiness within the whole conversation. So drop a comment below. Let me know what you're going to pursue and what you're going to do now or what you're going to be now. And be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get notifications every time I do new videos. Be sure to check me out on Instagram and go grab that free gift down below. And I will see you next time with another video.